Hi everyone, welcome to my studio. I am not ready at all, but I'm going to do this. I'm trying out the Quor colours here, QOR, and I'm just interested to see what happens with these because they blend quite well when they touch one another. And so I'm just having a bit of a practice here to see what happens and whether or not we can turn these blobs into birds. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm going to drop in some water and let that push the pigment around. I'm going to make these a bit bigger and add a bit more red and see what happens. I'm going to take a very small piece of carrot aquarelle and I'm going to draw a beak and some legs. Remember that birds' legs, they bend up here and you can't see that. So when you see the legs of a bird, you can only really see the straight bit. So you can emphasize that. This watercolor pencil, I quite like the effect. If I'm feeling in the mood for something graphic, then this is the way to go. So we will try that. Maybe we'll put some spatter on this. When that's dry, I might just lift out a little bit of paint here because it's very wet and it's going to take eons to dry. So we just do that, and then I might put in an indication of eye. I'll improve that later when it's a bit drier, perhaps. So these are just relaxation birds. Let's do, I don't know, let's do a green one. This is phthalo blue and Hansa yellow. Drop in some water to make the shapes, and then I do some legs. You could do those with a pen, or you can do them with watercolor pencil and you can just go over the pencil to make it go really dark. And then we'll have a beak up here and I think tail, what shall we do for the tail? Should we go down or up? We have to go down, don't we? So we just do something like that. Maybe we'll put a little bit of green in there too. Indicate a wing, perhaps a bit on the top of the head. Having loosened up a little bit, I'm going to come back to this one and put some nice dark inky colour in there. And I'm thinking, you know, the blue is good, doesn't need the red, so we'll just do that. And when it's dry, I'll probably come back with some white to lift this out. So then the next colour I'm going to make, we're going to start with yellow and we're going to mix it with the orange colour, and just got enough space here for number 3. So we'll put number 3 on here. And I could change to ink for the legs, but I want to kind of keep the same vibe going, if you like. So we put him standing on his legs like that. There's his legs. I think his beak wants to come up here. A nice thick paint so it doesn't run too much for the wing. Could have done with a bit more yellow, but we'll let that bleed. His tail is going to have to be up here. Maybe he'll have a kind of sort of slightly gothic sort of tail, and then we'll drop some yellow in there like we did on the other ones. Need an eye and an eye. And we need a bit of spatter. This lovely, lovely green. And finally, orange. And we need to then give them something to stand on. So we come in with my lovely Carrot Aquarelle watercolor pencil, which we can then just drag a little bit of grey along there to give some foundation. Now, as I said, I wanted to come along with some white, if I can find it. It's here. So we'll drop, I hope, a little ring of white around the eye. Probably ought to wait for that to dry. And when it is dry, we could come in and do some embellishments. So we'll leave that for a minute to dry. And to recap, the materials I used, this is a piece of Bockingford, 140-pound cotton, not cotton, cellulose watercolor paper. These are Core paints. This is their introductory set with the 6 colours, and I used the phthalo blue, the Hansa yellow, I think that's cadmium orange, and that's Hansa yellow as well. And then I used my watercolor pencils, which have disappeared. They're all getting very short, but I have got a new box, if I can find them. I'll put the links in the blog. So if you go over to the blog, dianeantone.com, you'll see everything that I used. And then I'm going to use a Signo white ink pen. Okay, so we need to let that dry. So these are dry now, so I'm going to come in with my white pen, and learnt a little nifty trick about these white pens the other day. If you've got one, the Sigmo thing, you have to use it very lightly to get the most amount of ink out of it. So you don't press hard. If you do press hard, you get a sort of broken line, and it's much better to press very lightly. It's actually quite hard to do. It's not to press at all. There's a sort of knack in it. And so I'm just putting in some white lines here just to sort of break up some of the dark areas a little bit. Quite like the dark areas. I think they're sort of quite make me think of all sorts of charcoal and graphic types of constructions. But sometimes you feel you might want to embellish it, but do you want to embellish it with black? Maybe you want to embellish it with white. I don't know. Anyway, we'll just make these eyes a little bit lighter around the outside edge of these funky birds. And I think we might paint a flower there. Maybe we'll do that in gold. I've got a gold pen here somewhere. Where was that be? Where would that be? Well, anyway, what I'll do in that case is just draw a flower in black. And when I do find the gold pen, I will fix this small problem. This is kind of becoming a bit of a trademark to have these little flowers here with my birds. Now you could outline the whole thing if you wanted to. You could, come in and do the outline, and you could do lots more embellishments on there if you wanted to. But I think I'm going to leave it with you now. I'm going to let you take this one and do what you want to with it. It's quite interesting. I think we might be interesting to see what you do if you want to put them on Facebook on the either Learn to Paint Watercolor page, or if you're a member of the channel, or if you're a Patreon member, you can put your paintings on the private Diane Antone Studio private Facebook group. You just have to apply to join, and then it'd be really interesting to see what you do. I know everybody's very creative. I don't feel myself to be very creative at all, but I try. We have to try, don't we? I'm sort of thinking maybe I might give them some eyelashes. I need to get a finer point. I know birds don't have eyelashes. So there we are. Just one thing other I wanted to do is to make the center of these flowers red. Bit of a smudge there where I think I must have put my hand on the paper. So there we are, 3 little whimsical birds. I read somewhere today, paint a bird a day makes depression go away. So I think that's quite a nice message to end on, don't you? So thanks very much for being here, everybody. And I will see you again soon. So bye for now. Bye-bye.